Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into something that really touches, well, almost everything these days.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah, it's unavoidable.
Exactly. But we're not doing the usual, robots are taking over thing. Instead, we found this really fascinating angle, thanks to an article by Travis Gensler. It's called The Authenticity Paradox: Why AI Might Bring Us Back to Real Human Connection.
And right off the bat, that title grabs you, doesn't it? This idea that as AI gets better and better at, well, faking it, essentially.
Right, mimicking us.
Yeah, mimicking us.
Mm-hmm.
It might actually push us back towards wanting, even valuing genuine, real human stuff more. It's kind of counterintuitive.
Totally counterintuitive. It really makes you stop and think. But before we really dive deep, let's maybe pour a little something, get the conversation flowing.
Good plan. What do we got today?
Today, we've cracked open some Widow Jane decadence, getting like a bit of maple right away on the nose.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, and then this really nice, warm kind of caramel finish. Feels appropriate for tackling a paradox, don't you think?
Definitely sounds like a good pairing for this topic. All right, so Gensler.
Yes. Back to the paradox.
So the core argument basically is this. Our world is filling up, right, with AI content, AI interactions, chatbots, generated articles, you name it.
Everywhere you look, yeah.
But Gensler argues our basic human need for, real connection and trust. That doesn't just go away. It might actually get stronger because of all the AI.
Okay, so, I'm getting this. Like, you're scrolling Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And you know so much is filtered. Maybe AI helps write the caption, whatever.
Hmm.
Or you deal with a customer service bot that's super efficient, solves your problem in seconds.
Yeah, efficient, but maybe cold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Gensler's idea is that this very, efficiency, this artificiality, it could make us really start craving something, I don't know, messier, more human.
Precisely. And to really unpack this, we're not just looking at Gensler. We've also pulled in some other stuff, research on why face-to-face still matters so much.
Okay.
How creating real experiences works in, marketing these days. The bedrock importance of just plain authenticity for relationships. And, of course, how AI itself is changing so fast.
Right. So one of the big things jumping out, for me anyway, is trust. Gensler hints at this, and it just feels right,
Right.
that real trust, it's not built from some perfectly worded AI email.
No, probably not.
It's those moments, like in person, shared coffee maybe, reading the room, the nonverbal cues.
Yeah.
That's where trust really gets built, I think.
And that lines up perfectly with what our other sources say about just basic human interaction. There's a richness, right, in talking face-to-face.
Yeah.
The tiny changes in tone, the way someone stands, holds themselves. It sends all these signals that AI, well, it just can't replicate. Not yet, anyway. It's almost like biologically hardwired for us.
Yeah.
We need that to really trust someone.
Right. And you see it in business, too, right? We have all these amazing digital tools, Zoom, Slack, everything.
Endless tools.
But think about closing a really big deal, or maybe hiring someone for a key role. Often, it still boils down to that meeting, that dinner, that handshake. It feels almost quaint, but maybe it's just fundamental.
I think it is fundamental. And, this ties into something else. We looked at this whole trend of experiential marketing.
Ah, okay. Tell me about that.
Well, it's like brands are realizing that if everything online starts to feel a bit manufactured, or maybe just overwhelming.
Yeah, noisy.
Exactly. So they invest in creating these real-world things, pop-up shops, events, experiences you can actually touch and feel. It cuts through the digital clutter because it feels genuine, sensory. It creates a stronger memory, a real connection, not just another targeted ad you scroll past.
So it's like a pendulum swinging back. The more artificial stuff we get, the more we value the genuine article.
That seems to be the idea. And Gensler even talks about this possibility of an authenticity premium.
Okay, what's that?
Like people or companies who can actually demonstrably offer real human interaction, real empathy. They might actually have a serious advantage in the future. People might pay more or be more loyal for that realness.
An authenticity premium. I like that. But okay, here's a question then, playing devil's advocate a bit.
Go for it.
What if AI gets really good, so good it can convincingly fake empathy, understand nuance, respond in ways that feel real? Our sources on AI development suggest it's moving incredibly fast.
That's a huge question, a really important one. Could our whole perception of what counts as a real connection, could that actually change over time?
Yeah, maybe for future generations who grow up with this super advanced AI, will they even make the same distinction we do between human and AI interaction if the AI feels just as, I don't know, supportive or understanding.
It makes you wonder, right? Is authenticity this fixed, inherent thing? Or is it something we define based on, well, what we know now? Maybe the definition itself is sort of up for grabs in an AI world.
Wow. Okay. So that changes things.
And it impacts, well, everything. Think about customer service. Maybe routine stuff gets handled by AI, but for complex emotional problems, that human touch becomes the crucial differentiator, the premium service.
Or in creative fields,
Hmm.
maybe the little imperfections, the quirks, the unique viewpoint of a human artist or writer, that becomes more valuable
Hmm.
precisely because it stands out from potentially flawless, but maybe soulless AI creations.
Exactly. The humanness itself becomes the selling point.
So, okay, pulling this together,
Hmm.
the main takeaway here isn't really about being scared of AI, is it?
No, I don't think so. Not primarily, anyway.
It's more about understanding how AI's rise might actually force us to look harder at what makes us human
Mm.
and maybe put more value on those genuine connections.
Yes, exactly. And perhaps being more intentional about cultivating them, because maybe we've taken them for granted a bit in our rush towards digital everything.
Right, being intentional.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah,
finding that balance, using AI for what it's good at, efficiency, handling data, automation,
yeah, sure.
but then consciously choosing and valuing real human interaction for the things AI can't easily do, building deep trust, fostering true creativity, sharing genuine empathy.
Okay. So, thinking about the listener now,
Hmm.
what does all this mean for you? As AI weaves itself more and more into your life, maybe take a second to think about where you're really prioritizing those human connections.
Yeah, like, are you defaulting to a quick text or an email when maybe, just maybe, picking up the phone or suggesting a coffee would build a stronger bridge?
Are you maybe subconsciously trading genuine engagement at work or with friends or family for just being more efficient? It's a tricky balance.
And think about the businesses you deal with, too. Are they leaning so hard into AI that it feels impersonal? Or are they finding ways to keep that human element to offer authentic experiences? The paradox suggests that demand for the real deal is only going to increase.
This whole deep dive into Gensler's authenticity paradox, it really does push the envelope on how we think about tech and, well, us,
It
humans.
definitely does.
It leaves you with this big question, doesn't it? In a future that's potentially saturated with the artificial, will our search for the real, the authentic, actually lead us to appreciate each other more profoundly?
It's a really compelling thought to carry forward, I think. Something to chew on.
Well, join us next time as we spiral out and take another deep dive into,
Uh,
well, you have to tune in to find out. Keep going.